The 2024 NFL Draft was insane. 6 quarterbacks were selected in the top 12, each landing in unique places that have their pros and cons. Now, the truth for these guys is it's often just as much about where you land as it is how talented you are. So in today's video, I want to investigate each first-round rookie quarterback situation and rank it on a tier list. Now, the draft itself set an all-time record for draft attendance, with over 700,000 people attending over the course of the 3 days, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of it, courtesy of today's video sponsor, SeatGeek and the Arizona Cardinals. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the Arizona Cardinals. They hooked me up with some free gear, including this KTO Cardinals jersey, which was sick, and for the event itself, there was a ton of activities to keep us busy. We even got to tour backstage. And for the draft itself, we were lucky enough to be sitting in the draft theater and witness the action up close. I even ran into Ray Finkel. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. There's going to be awesome things to do on a regular basis, and you don't want to miss out. They put all the tickets across the web into one place to make sure you are getting a good deal. Each ticket is rated on a scale from 1 to 10, so look for the green dots. Green means good and red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. And you know I came through for you guys. Use my code KTO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. And thanks again to SeatGeek and the Arizona Cardinals. As far as #1 overall picks go, this is about as favorable as it gets. Normally, the team picking here was atrocious the previous season, but the Bears were a 7-win team last year, with the major concern really being at quarterback. The roster had some promising pieces in 2023, which will still be a part of the team in 2024, including wide receiver DJ Moore and tight end Cole Kmet, who both proved extremely effective in the pass game. And throughout this offseason, the Bears have really bolstered this offense with multiple weapons, including veteran Keenan Allen, running back DeAndre Swift, tight end Gerald Everett, and wide receiver Rome Odunze, who they used their other first-round pick on. Also, they added depth to the offensive line, which should be at least average if they can stay healthy in 2024. Now on the flip side, it is Chicago. They have struggled offensively for most of their modern history. But with that said, Caleb is easily one of the most talented quarterbacks this organization has ever had. Also, things do change, and I like this situation a lot. The team hired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, who proved himself to be able to revive Geno Smith in Seattle. Factoring in a favorable offensive situation alongside Caleb's outstanding talent, I'll give his situation an A tier. Honestly, this might be the best situation a #1 overall quarterback has had that I could remember. With the #2 overall pick, Washington fans are seeing 2012 deja vu with Jayden Daniels. As Washington is not that bad of a situation for being the second pick. However, it's not as impressive as Chicago. Last season, they struggled offensively and saw most of the coaching staff get fired. The team hired defensive-minded Dan Quinn as the head coach and brought in Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator, which will be a good fit for Jayden Daniels. Outside of Terry McLaurin, their weapons offensively are average. They brought in Austin Eckler and Zach Ertz, which are decent, but are not huge splash signings by any means. This team will be somewhat of a wild card, since their offense will look so much different, going from that West Coast style with Sam Howell to an air raid RPO style with Jayden Daniels. But one of the biggest issues this team will have is figuring out how they're going to manage on the offensive line. At the end of 2023, the Commanders had one of the worst O-lines in the league, and they cut their best offensive lineman in the offseason. With no clear answer at left tackle for now, they project as one of the worst O-lines entering 2024, which spells disaster for a rookie quarterback. I like Daniels the player, but I think this first year might be tough considering the O-line and the average pieces around him. So this situation lands in C tier. With the 3rd overall pick, the New Era Patriots selected Drake May, the most prototypical quarterback of the class considering his size and arm talent. Honestly, I feel bad for May. He's perhaps the most raw of these first-round quarterbacks and needing the time to learn. Yet, he's going to the worst situation of all the quarterbacks and will probably start day 1. there's just hardly anything positive to say about this situation. They were arguably the worst offense last season, and they didn't add any pieces in free agency that make you go, wow, this team looks so much better. Their best receivers entering 2024 are Kendrick Bourne, who had 400 yards last year, and second-round rookie Jalen Polk, who might be good, but is a rookie. With a first-time head coach taking over the Patriots, hardly any weapons that have proven to be good, and worst of all, an offensive line that doesn't project well entering 2024, there is going to be some serious growing pains. They do have Jacoby Brissett, and hopefully he can somewhat shoulder the load during this rough transition period. But either way, Drake May's situation goes in D tier.
With the 8th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael Penix Jr.
Well, there it is.
Quarterback, Washington.
When the Falcons selected Penix Jr., everyone was shocked. After signing Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal in free agency and parading him around town, the Falcons went ahead and drafted another quarterback in the top 10. There will be some awkward team dynamics considering the relationship between Cousins and the front office, but this video's purpose is to analyze the situation for Penix himself. Out of all the first-round quarterbacks, Penix will probably sit the longest unless an injury takes place. Although he has been described as one of the most plug-and-play guys because of experience, it's not a bad thing in the NFL to sit for a year and learn the ropes from a veteran. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Jordan Love are great examples of this playing out effectively. This seems like one of the most sound strategies in terms of building up a young quarterback. But we just see the impatience set in too often, and guys are thrust into the starting role. The worry here is that with a new coaching staff, including a first-time head coach and first-time offensive coordinator, you just don't know what you're gonna get. They could have a whole new staff by the time Penix plays, but as of right now, Atlanta has some nice offensive pieces in a weak division, including Drake London, Bijan Robinson, new signee Darrell Mooney, and perhaps the revival of Kyle Pitts with a better quarterback under center. Plus, they project to have a top 5 offensive line entering 2024. So if Penix does see the field, it's a hugely favorable situation. This one's a bit of an unknown, but assuming Penix sits at least a year, I will give this situation a B tier. J.J. McCarthy couldn't have asked for a better situation. Minnesota is the most stable organization offensively out of all these teams that picked a quarterback, considering Kevin O'Connell has been the head coach for years and is seen as a promising young head coach. And also their offensive coordinator has been there the past 2 years. Stability does wonders for a franchise. This offense has been built for Kirk Cousins, which is great for a guy like McCarthy. He doesn't have the same ceiling as the other quarterbacks, but shows promise as a game manager type, which really isn't a bad thing in the NFL. Plus, McCarthy will have incredible weapons, including the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson, a solid number 2 Jordan Addison, and an amazing receiving tight end, TJ Hawkinson from last season. Also, they signed running back Aaron Jones and did bring in a veteran quarterback in Sam Darnold, so they can always start with him first and work in McCarthy whenever they feel it's time. Also, they have a projected top 10 offensive line. So honestly, it doesn't get much more favorable than this. I don't think he'll be the best quarterback of the bunch, but he certainly has the best and most stable situation. So I'm gonna put his situation in S tier. This last one's interesting. It's the one I'm most unsure about. Nix was the least desired of the top 6. But those who defended him comped him to Drew Brees for his decision making and short area accuracy. Obviously, anytime you're compared to a Hall of Famer, you're set up to fail. But not talking about the level of play, and more about the style of play, and you get what Sean Payton likes in a quarterback. A guy who can take the snap, make his read, and get the ball out quickly. Obviously, the difference was that Drew Brees had multiple pro seasons under his belt when he joined forces with Payton, whereas Nix is a rookie. I think Denver does have some good pieces offensively. Also, I believe this roster will be one of the weaker ones of the 6 for the next few years, considering how much they're eating in the dead cap because of Russell Wilson. They will have an average offensive line, and their offensive weapons are promising, but they won't be the most spectacular offense in the world. Because Sean Payton has proven his ability to elevate quarterbacks, Nix is in good hands. I just feel like there will be at least some growing pains in year 1. I'll put his situation in B tier.
Play action and Boats Nix taking the deep shot for Johnson. How about that? Brothers touchdown.